For a great cup of joe, there's one thing you should know. Your morning brew can also be playful. Buff Boy Brewing guys make the temperature rise, and you surely feel naughty when you swallow our coffee. If you want some real heat, give your mouth a fine treat. You will want some more, rest assured. Buff Boy Brewing, you can't get enough of.
It's time for The Scribble, your weekly fix of celebrity chats, bizarre stories in the news, and basic random chatter with best-selling author and syndicated radio host Jeremy Bradley. Make sure your seat is in the upright and locked position and your barf bag is securely in place. Here's Jeremy Bradley.
Thank you very much, Larson. Jeremy Bradley here on The Scribble. You know, we're 25 episodes in, and that intro, I was going to say never gets old, but it kind of does. It kind of does. Maybe we're going to have to change it up. This is like our silver anniversary. 25 podcasts already. And thanks to everybody who's been tuned in from week one. You know, we had a very interesting start with Jeff Probst and Phil Kogan from Amazing Race and Lisa Gibbons from Celebrity Apprentice, and then some Shark Tank stars, and we've had some really great star power. But I hear you loud and clear when you email that sometimes you just want to hear regular chatter. And you know what? That's what we're going to be doing today here on the Scribble Podcast. And again, thanks for tuning in at thescribbleshow.com and on SoundCloud and iTunes. Well, we're going to talk about celebrities, even though we don't have any celebrity guests joining us this week. I do want to talk about all the celebrity splits, because it has been a summer of celeb splits. I guess I just said that. And, you know, normally we hear about a celebrity divorce once every couple of weeks. It seems like it's happening every few days. So we're going to recap the splits, and we're going to discuss maybe why these are happening. Is it the public relationship? Is it social media? And then I'm going on a rant about social media. I've been given, I think it's like 5, 6, 7 minutes to go on about social media and how people just post the most obnoxious things. And you see it, you know you have. And there's maybe a part of you that wants to tell these people, like, you're an idiot for posting this kind of crap. So I'm going to say it because I know you're thinking about it. So we're going to talk about that as well. Lots coming your way. Would love to hear your thoughts. Remember to tweet us at The Scribble Show on Twitter, at The Scribble Show. And then my Twitter is at SFCelebWatch. Just as much as I go on this rant about social media, now I'm telling you to tweet me. But I do prefer email. You can always email jb@jbonair.com, jb@jbonair.com. So if you're listening online and you're posting on social media at the exact same time, scroll through and see if you can see some of these things I'm going to be talking about, okay? It's really going to be interesting. And again, would love to hear your thoughts. jb@jbonair.com. We're going to hit the discussion right after this.
Are you tired of commuting to a job that makes someone else rich? Working harder than ever, but getting nowhere? Do you hate spending hundreds of dollars every week on daycare? Having someone else raise your children? With our opportunities, you can start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss, work from home, and live a happier life. At Be the Boss Network, you'll find hundreds of work-from-home opportunities that you can literally start today and be earning money as soon as next week. Go to freedom41.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss. Get out of the rat race. Work from home. Go to freedom41.com right now and change your life today. That's freedom, the number 41.com. Go to freedom41.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You be the boss. Go to freedom41.com.
Scribble Dribble brought to you by SpeakFreeWithJB.com.
Thank you.
Check out syndicated newspaper columnist Jeremy Bradley's rants and raves in his weekly news and entertainment columns.
Yay.
That's at SpeakFreeWithJB.com. Since he's paid to not shut up, God knows why. Once again, Jeremy Bradley.
All right, let's get to some dribbling here, because it is like the summer of celebrity splits. Have you noticed, and we've only been keeping track of some of them here. Let's recap, though, in case you've been under a rock and don't follow entertainment news, which you should, because I do host Entertainment Wrap-Up, a daily recap of the latest celebrity news and gossip. So I'll do you a favor here. I'll do you a solid, unlike those relationships we're going to be talking about right now, okay? So just recently, a couple weeks ago, Gwen Stefani, Gavin Rossdale, they announced their split. It was the beginning of August. Again, cheating allegations, right? Now they have a few kids together. They want joint custody. Now, in California, you're going to split your assets in the middle. She's worth more, significantly more than he is. I believe $80 million for her, about $30 million for him. But she's going to try to perhaps maybe fight this and keep a little bit more of her money. That's what the reports are saying. Then, I think it was actually the same day or the next day, Reba McEntire and her husband, Narvel Blackstock, they'd been married for 26 years. He's her manager, though, so they're still going to have a business relationship together. But yeah, they're also splitting. Marriage done. Now, the biggie that we've been hearing about, Jennifer Garner and Ben Affleck. Now, the story is that he was getting really cuddly with the nanny, right? As always, right? You got to have the pretty young nanny. And stories are saying that, he's bought her a vehicle and he's just wined and dined her. And yeah, Jen Garner wasn't having it. Kicked him to the curb. Now, it's interesting because we've seen him out wearing his wedding ring and not wearing his wedding ring. We've also seen him with the nanny, at night and socially. So that's kind of what's fueling the speculation. Now, Affleck, for his part, has said that he's actually planning to sue some of the tabloids that are reporting that he'd had an affair and with the nanny, and that's what split up the relationship. So again, still the back and forth on this one. Then the other major country music split that we heard, Blake Shelton, Miranda Lambert. First we heard that she was being accused of being the cheater. Then we heard that it could be him. His boots were under somebody else's bed, right? Whose bed have your boots been under, as Shania Twain sings? Now, it wasn't going to be a really messy divorce, but then they started mudslinging a little bit back and forth. Miranda accused of sleeping with another country music star, but then she went and said that Shelton was also having the wandering dingle, let's say. And so now it just gets worse. So he had all of her stuff on the front porch, was saying, get all your animals off of my, property, get your own place. So she's having to do that. Now, another big split, Kourtney Kardashian and Scott Disick. Again, this one should not be a surprise because they've been on and off for many, many years. Now, they've got 3 kids together. Their relationship goes on about 10 years now. And, of course, Scott never able to kick his drug and substance abuse problems. If you watch Keeping Up with the Kardashians or any of those shows, you know that he's tried rehab. He has anger management issues. He's become violent, punched the wall, broken a mirror. He's even shoved dollar bills in a restaurant server's mouth when he wanted another drink. So he's been a train wreck for quite some time. He was on our show, the radio show, Top of the Charts, I guess last year or 2 years ago. He was late calling in, and he was kind of just a dick, if I can say that. Yes, I can, because, what does it matter? So Disick earlier this summer wasn't at his kid's birthday and was across the way, I believe in Europe, seen, partying at clubs and chit-chatting with a girl. So naturally the pictures from that made it into the tabloids here in North America. And then, of course, the Kardashians just fueled that fire, right? Now, in other divorce news, now we heard Khloe Kardashian and Lamar Odom had filed for divorce quite some time ago, but didn't sign the papers to make it official. That just happened not too long ago, and if you were paying attention earlier this week, if you're listening to this on August 14th or within the couple days, you heard that Lamar had tried to reach out to her outside of a gym and physically reach out to her and grabbed her arm. She wasn't having it. Then she was considering a restraining order, according to the latest tabloid reports. But yeah, those Kardashians aren't known for the most solid relationships as it is. Emma Roberts and Evan Peters, American Horror Story, they broke it off. They were together for about 3 years. Not too much mudslinging going on there. Sean Penn, Charlize Theron split. They'd been engaged for about 1.5 years. Again, no real details coming out as to why they are no more. Britney Spears was with Charlie Ebersol. Now, they were together for about 8 months. We heard that she was wanting to put a ring on it. He wasn't quite ready for that. And I guess maybe, does she have possession of her money that she could have bought a ring and put it on his finger? But either way, she's apparently gunning for another marriage, and he not quite ready for that. So he just kind of wants the bang bang is what it sounds like. Nick Jonas also split from Olivia Culpo, and that was just a quick relationship, but apparently he's already moved on to another relationship, so that's not... Is he with one of the Jenner girls? It's like Kardashian Day here on the Scribble. And then Miley Cyrus also was splitting from Patrick Schwarzenegger. Now, you'll recall that he was also photographed with another... It's always those beach and pool parties. That's what gets you. Patrick was apparently seen with a woman that was purportedly his ex, and Miley didn't like it. And then she also sort of got back at him making out with a girl. Why not, right? You can do it, I can do it, is what Miley says. So why do you think all these celebrity couples, now, the divorce rate in general, they say 50%, maybe leaning to more divorces than marriages together. What is it? Is it that they're in the public eye, that they're just followed by paparazzi and cameras, that they don't have secrecy? Do you think that they would be able to carry on these affairs, alleged affairs in some cases, if the prying eyes weren't there, if social media, if people weren't snapping pictures of everything everywhere? I would love to hear your thoughts on this. Send me an email. jb@jbonair.com is my email address. jb@jbonair.com. Because again, when you think about social media, that tears, relationships apart, because what happens if you post things and you block your partner from seeing it, right? Or you get drunk and all of a sudden your friends are taking pictures of you doing whatever at a bar with somebody else. I don't think that the relationship is as sacred these days as it used to be. Then again, who knows? People were cheating back in the day too. I'm not saying that your relationships were perfect back then, but definitely, is it social media? Is it people just not taking relationships seriously? Is it that we're in such a weird society that your attention span or your commitment, if you know that they say that people only stay at jobs now for 2 or 3 years, it's like, are we commitment phobic now in today's world? So that's a big question. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Again, jb@jbonair.com is my email address. That's jb@jbonair.com. Thank you for listening to that rant, and we're back right after this.
Did you know that with a bachelor's degree, on average, you can make almost twice as much over a lifetime than a person with just a high school diploma? Yes. According to the U.S. Census Bureau, you can make almost twice as much. Going back to college is now easier than ever. There are select online colleges that provide laptops to their students. In fact, there are thousands of college programs on your laptop. You can go to college anywhere and everywhere right from a laptop. Call My College Laptop, and you can find hundreds of programs from accredited colleges and universities nationwide. Start a new career in law enforcement, business, information technology, healthcare, and hundreds of others. Call My College Laptop to find an online college that will provide you with a laptop. In no time at all, you could double your earning potential. Double your earning potential. Call now. 800-928-1811. That's 800-928-1811. 800-928-1811.
Ever had something to get off your chest but never had the balls to say it? That's a load of crap. Speak Free with JB.com is exactly what you've been waiting for. Your chance to tell it like it is and not care what anybody else thinks. Have your say on issues of the day. Join newspaper and radio columnist Jeremy Bradley as he tells it like it is. Hundreds of thousands of people have stopped by, including some well-known celebrities who have had a chat with JB and speak candidly about what's really going on in the world. You can join them too. Have a rant or a rave. Be brave and head on over to www.speakfreewithjb.com now.
Scribble Dribble brought to you by SpeakFreeWithJB.com.
Thank you.
Check out syndicated newspaper columnist Jeremy Bradley's rants and raves in his weekly news and entertainment columns.
Yay.
That's at SpeakFreeWithJB.com. Since he's paid to not shut up, God knows why. Once again, Jeremy Bradley.
Jeremy Bradley back here on The Scribble. Again, thanks so much for listening at iTunes and SoundCloud and at thescribbleshow.com. In that last segment, I was mentioning social media and how relationships, they're really not so private anymore. And I've got to say, I've been on Facebook. I was probably one of the last people in my generation to get on Facebook several years ago, but I don't feel that people care to know what I'm doing every minute of the day. Now, don't get me wrong, there's some very interesting things that happen. I've got some very animated dogs. We have many laughs at home, and I will post some of those pictures. I'm not even going to mention my relation to the person or, whatever the relation is that I have with that person. They know who they are. I'm thinking of the posts. She's pregnant. She's, due, I don't know how many weeks, but everything is a commentary. Now, I'll admit that I spend maybe 10 minutes a day on there, scrolling through a couple things. I certainly don't post every day. I'd have to look to see, the last post was probably a few days ago. But it's just interesting to see that it's almost like a constant narration of what's happening in her day every minute. And I get that she is a stay-at-home mom and she's going to have another baby, but it's just like, ugh, no motivation to go to the gym today. Ugh, worst day ever. Ugh, need a drink but can't because I'm pregnant. Ugh, so-and-so is such a bitch, I can't stand them. Ugh, and I'm thinking, why? But then it also kind of then makes me wonder, are people just sitting there and waiting to see who's going to respond, how quickly it takes people to respond, and then are those posts going to stay there? If somebody doesn't respond within an hour, Does she delete the post and then get rid of it, or maybe repost it again to see maybe people were at work, maybe people have lives, they weren't waiting for my commentary, at the top of the hour like I always post. I'm just so fascinated about people's obsessions with social media, but why, though? And again, it makes me wonder. I say this to my nephews when we have a family get-together, and they're really getting crazy, and then they start to scream or squeal, and I just look at them and say, why are you shouting? And they look at me like they don't know what I'm talking about. So I almost want to do that. I almost want to publicly comment on people's posts and go, why are you telling us this? Do you think we care? And if nobody's commented after, let's say, 45 minutes, an hour, 2 hours, then I should reply. I should post a comment and just say, how do you feel about the lack of response you've had from this post? Is this what you were wanting? Were you wanting sympathy? Were you wanting people to chime in and say, oh, poor you, poor you? I don't get it. I have no interest in social media for my own personal life. That's the thing. I understand the incredible things you can do with a business or product or brand or whatever. I get that. We've got my Twitter for SF Celeb Watch is my Twitter. We have promotions of my newspaper column, of the books, what's coming up on this podcast, on the radio shows, and my newspaper columns, things like that. I get it. But when it's your personal life and you're ranting and you're putting everything out there, what's the big... why? Now, the other thing... I wrote a newspaper column about it, and I actually had one of the editors email me back. Normally, when I write my newspaper column, I just sort of blast it out to the papers every week. They don't really have any input. They don't really comment about it. But this one week, one of the editors had written back saying, thank you for writing this. Every time I see pictures of my granddaughter on Facebook, it makes me worry, like I fear for it. Now, my question that I've put out there is, are kids being exploited by their own parents? And are parents getting permission from their kids? Because your kid isn't going to understand, oh, hey, I'm just going to post this picture of you playing in the pool in the backyard to the very private internet where only people I absolutely trust are going to see it. That is not the case. You know that your friends are going to like it or comment or whatever it is, and then their friends, people you don't know, I'm not saying that they're friends with child molesters, pedophiles, whatever it is, you don't know who is seeing that picture of your kid. So maybe when your kid is a certain age, teenager, and they understand, hey, mommy, daddy is going to be posting pictures of you out there for the world to see. Because there's one thing that I can't stand, and I get that you're proud of your kids. I get when you have a baby, you post those first pictures. You have to realize that kids nowadays, almost their entire life is broadcast online at the hands of their parents, right? You would never, right? And then it's when the kids become teenagers, that's when the parents are sitting there going, hey, don't put everything out there on social media, But wait a second, we just saw, or we heard that your kid had the runs and had the craps all day. Parents have no problem putting that out there. So it does make me wonder why parents aren't getting permission from their kids. And I wonder how many lawsuits are going to start to come up. When these teenagers, you just have to have one disgruntled kid, one troubled teenager, who's going to now then consult a lawyer and say, you know what, my life was exploited on social media by my parents. Yes, they're my legal guardian and make decisions for me, but this is my life and my privacy that's being put out there, and my parents didn't abide by that. They didn't have any regard for my privacy, personal information, anything like that. Would love to hear your thoughts on this one as well. Now, I don't have kids, so it's not like I exploit my dogs, that's fine. But at the same time, my dogs get paid because we have costumes and we have different things that, they work for my company, basically. But I would love to hear your thoughts on parents exploiting kids on social media. jb@jbonair.com. Once again, that email address, jb@jbonair.com. So your celebrity divorce thoughts and your thoughts about parents exploiting kids on social media. Because when you think about it, you don't know who's seeing things. You don't know what pervert is getting turned on by seeing your little boy or girl in their little swimsuit or whatever it is, or in their gymnastics, right? Their spandex gymnastics outfit, whatever it is like that. But again, when you make it so that only your friends can see, let's be careful with that because you never know, right? Once it's on the internet, we know that it's out there. So that then brings up the point of if your kid gets kidnapped or something happens to the kid, is the parent to blame? Because you've just said that you're at gymnastics every Thursday or you bring the kids off at gymnastics every Thursday, what have you. All you need is a stranger now to pull up and go, hey, your mom, Sarah, said that I can give you a ride home today, or, something like that. You've put it all out there. Same thing when you go on vacation, right? You're posting all these wonderful pictures from your vacation. Boom, your house gets cleared out because somebody just robbed you. I mean, we've got to be careful with social media these days. So that goes back to my thoughts on not putting everything from my personal life out there because it's private. And I really don't think that people care that much about wanting to know what I'm doing every second of the day. I'm one of the few people who does not have an ego about his social media whereabouts and antics, so you're welcome for that. More rants about that in my book, Put Down Your Damn Phone Already. I know we talked about that the other week here on The Scribble. You can go to putdownyourdamnphone.com, and there's a sale for the month of August 2015, 33% off your first book purchase. Your second book is 66% off, and your third book purchase is 99% off. That's at speakfreebooks.com, and use the special coupon code BDAY33, and then you'll get the 66% and 99% discount codes emailed to you after your first purchase. I think it's time for another break. We'll be back right here on The Scribble.
Are you tired of commuting to a job that makes someone else rich? Working harder than ever, but getting nowhere? Do you hate spending hundreds of dollars every week on daycare? Having someone else raise your children? With our opportunities, you can start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss, work from home, and live a happier life. At Be the Boss Network, you'll find hundreds of work-from-home opportunities that you can literally start today and be earning money as soon as next week. Go to freedom41.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss. Get out of the rat race. Work from home. Go to freedom41.com right now and change your life today. That's freedom, the number 41.com. Go to freedom41.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You be the boss. Go to freedom41.com.
Scribble Dribble brought to you by SpeakFreeWithJB.com.
Thank you.
Check out syndicated newspaper columnist Jeremy Bradley's rants and raves in his weekly news and entertainment columns.
Yay.
That's at SpeakFreeWithJB.com. Since he's paid to not shut up, God knows why. Once again, Jeremy Bradley.
All right, time for some more dribble here on The Scribble. Jeremy Bradley at the controls again. You know, last week I was talking about my book, Put Down Your Damn Phone Already, and I love everybody's response to it, right? Because you either have somebody in your life who's addicted to their phone, can't put it down, you know when you're talking to them, they're not listening to you, you know the drill, or you are that person, right? Society is made up of two kinds of people, and you are that person, that you can't put down your phone, you never look up. Think about how many times a day you grab, you reach for it. And there's a whole bunch of statistics in the book that say, like, how many times a phone is unlocked on average, and there's just so many crazy things. So, accessories, though. The selfie stick, yes, is probably one of the most annoying things. And here's why, because, again, I go on social media, it's sort of a theme day, all of our stories tie into each other. You see all these people, South America, they seem to be really popular. People are on the beach, and in all honesty, I think it takes away when you see people holding out a stick and they're taking a picture. Why don't you just get somebody who's walking by or, whatever? That used to be the thing to do when you're on vacation or when you're on the beach or whatever. Hey, can you take a picture for us for just 2 seconds? Instead, now it looks like you're holding like a bike, a handlebar on a bike, and you're taking this picture. At least crop out the stick, then. Wouldn't that be the smart thing to do so that people don't see that you're holding a stick? Like, I don't know how this is a cool thing now. Now, let's go back then a few years to the different accessories, because cell phone accessories have changed over time, right? Bluetooth. You used to see people with the little blue blinking light in their ear. They look like a robot. Or if you don't see it from the other side, you just think they're talking to themselves, and now you're kind of like, oh, okay. But everybody now has that little earpiece, like a headphone, right? And then you talk and then you see the people holding up that little, I'm doing it right now, you can't see me because I'm talking to you, or you're just hearing audio. They're talking into that little thing because the wind is getting in or you can't hear. And so it's like, what's the point of that? Maybe Bluetooth was the way to go, but apparently those were always, I never used one of those things, but crackly, maybe not the best quality. And then what else was there? You had, your cases, your face plates, right? That was always the big thing, too. I remember my Nokia, I had like 3 different, and I would change it every day. I changed the faceplate every single frickin' day. Why? I don't know. I really don't know. But now you just have different cases, right? So the back, you've got a different case. So, yeah, lots of different accessories over the years, and, some of them a little bit more obnoxious than the other, but certainly the selfie stick is up there. And, I don't even know that there's a part about that in the book. The book was written, quite a while before the whole selfie stick thing took off. But, yeah, whoever created that, like a little extender rod for your phone, I don't know if they patented it because I think it's a bunch of companies that make it now. If you can hear there's a bunch of buzzing in the background, I think it's either a giant fly or we've got a swarm of flies in here for some reason. And I don't think that we've ever had that. I've been on the radio for 9.5 years, don't think we've ever had a fly buzzing around, but for some reason today that we do. Just for the podcast. Just for the Scribble listeners out there. Anyway, the book again is called Put Down Your Damn Phone Already. Lots of just sort of social commentary about people's obnoxious cell phone use. And, and some of it is me as well. I'm totally not bashing absolutely everybody. There are things that I admit to. But, as we've previously talked about here on the Scribble, you've got restaurants, right? There's the whole etiquette of, do you have your phone on the table? Do you not have it out on the table? And then if you're with somebody, do you wait? There's the whole bathroom thing, right? Either you excuse yourself to go to the bathroom so you can check your phone, or if you're the one left at the table, you wait until the coast is clear. You're pulling out your phone. That's what you're doing. And I don't know if it's just because you don't want to look like you're sitting there going, doop-de-doop-de-doo, what should I do? I'm by myself here. Or you're just like, oh, thank God he or she left, and I can look at my phone now. It's been killing me. Because if you have it on vibrate, that's just going to drive you even more insane, because somebody texted you, somebody called you. Who am I kidding? Who calls cell phones these days, right? And it's just, you're just going to wait. And then you think, okay, well, I can have about a minute and a half, right? By the time they go to the bathroom, wash their hands. Or there's the other person who's back in the bathroom just standing in the stall going, okay, would I be about done now? How long does it take me? How long should I be away? And then, you wait until you see them come around the corner, and then you quickly put away your phone like you weren't using it. You do it. You do it. You do. Concerts. You don't have lighters anymore. You hold up your phone like the flashlight, or you just turn on the screen. It's a little bit strange. I just guess it's probably more safe because a lighter can burn down the place, and your phone, it's just. But what about concerts? I was at the Journey concert for my mom's 60th birthday. That was a month or so ago, and it was empty, by the way. It wasn't a sold out concert, let me tell you. But there was a woman who was a few rows in front of us. And she was taking pictures and videotaping throughout the entire concert. Now, here's the deal. If you're spending so much time focused on filming this, get a job as a camera person, first off. But then you're not enjoying it. So then what's going to happen is you're watching it through the screen, and then you're going to get home, presumably put it on your computer, your tablet, whatever, and you're going to watch it again on a screen when you were there in person to enjoy it. The people cheering and dancing around you, and that's the whole sort of excitement of going to a concert. And then, really, the video I don't get my parents the expensive concert tickets. We were sitting up in the nosebleed section, so unless she had, super telescopic lens on her phone, she's going to get some really crummy video. And even the pictures, even though on the best settings, you're still... And then you're going to have the distortion because the music is so loud. It was just... I laughed, and then I was just sort of bothered by her. I laughed because I figured you're just wasting your time being here. There's really no sense. And then just getting mad going, wow, it's just so sad that you can't live in the moment, right? And that's the big thing. Everybody is using their phone to quickly capture it and then put it out there for everybody else to see. Are you really enjoying it yourself? Or are you trying to have other people enjoy it as much as you should be enjoying it at that time? So again, the book is called Put Down Your Damn Phone Already. And again, rants about social media and all that other fun stuff are in there. PutDownYourDamnPhone.com. You can also get it on Amazon. Or if you're one of our iTunes subscribers to the podcast, you can get it on iTunes. Put down your damn phone already. And when you're ordering from our website, speakfreebooks.com, you can use that birthday coupon code BDAY33 for a 33% discount on the book. I think it's probably the cheapest you're going to get it. Let's hear from Larson right now about more social media stuff.
We hear you chirping. Get scribbling. Tweet up the Scribble at The Scribble Show. Join the discussion with Jeremy Bradley. It's all going down right now on Twitter at The Scribble Show and at thescribbleshow.com.
Thank you very much, Larson. How ironic, though, right? Going on my social media rant, and then we go and promote Twitter. But like I said, you know what? For business, goodness, social media can be a great thing. So yes, we are on Twitter at The Scribble Show. Our executive producer, Bonnie Winters, the lovely Bon Bon, is tweeting from there. And my Twitter is at SF Celebwatch, so speak free, SF Celebwatch. And, we're live tweeting. I live tweet to Bachelor in Paradise and Big Brother. And I love hearing from Bachelor Nation and all the Big Brother fans out there as well. And, we have a bit of fun, some laughs along the way. So at SF Celebwatch is mine, and at The Scribble Show on Twitter for The Scribble Podcast. All right, we're back next week. I don't know, are we going to have some celebrity guests? More interesting chatter? Well, you're just going to have to stay tuned to find out. My name is Jeremy Bradley. I will talk to you next time. Bye-bye, everybody.
Want more Scribble? Check out thescribbleshow.com for past shows, celebrity interviews, cheapskate tips, and more. That's at thescribbleshow.com and on Twitter at The Scribble Show. The Scribble is a speak-free media presentation.
If you want some real heat, give your